I got a wide variety of new metal albums for you, plus a special announcement. Let's get it. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. It's the weekend. That means we got new metal albums to talk about. And before we do my top 5, we always break down the big artists and their album release. So let's get that. And also make sure you stick around to the end for this week's Album Art of the Week and Dealer's Choice. First up, there's a new record from Bayside called There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive. I was not ready for this type of crossover. It's kind of pop punk meets heavy metal. I didn't think that was possible, but then I heard it and I was like, they actually kind of pulled that off. Then one of my favorite metalcore bands because of the insane riffs that they write, Era has a new record called Cure. That's right, the progressive metalcore band from
Alabama.
And speaking of metalcore, there's a new record from Alpha Wolf called Half Living Things, sort of a new metal meets metalcore sort of crossover. Check it out. And from metalcore, we go to deathcore with Ingested. The Slam Kings are back with The Tides of Death and Fractured Dreams. Got my hands on this one early. Y'all know what that means. My written review is already published in Metal Digest. Links in the description. And speaking of albums that I got my hands on early, there's a new one from Corporal Clon called Remblaku. Pretty sure I mispronounced that incorrectly. Here's the text on the screen. And as always, every band's Bandcamp links will be in the description so that these records are easy to find. I wrote in my review that this may not be the heaviest album of the year, but it very well could be the most fun. And speaking of folk metal that I'll have bad pronunciations of, Spain's Celtian with Secreto de Amore y Muerte. Pretty sure I butchered that, I'm sorry, but I think the translation for that is Secret Love of the Dead. I'm down with that. Now let's do the top 5. Coming in at number 5, Hellgate Necrotomy with The Annihilation Deliverance. This is black and death metal out of Finland. This is an interesting blend of black metal and death metal because the death metal part is like this rumbly, old school death metal. But then you've got those real classic style black metal riffs with the growly vocals, so it gives it this cavernous, old school sort of feel. I like it, check it out. Coming in at number 4, the Monolith Death Cult with the demon who makes trophies of man. This is symphonic, brutal death metal out of the Netherlands. I've never heard a symphonic brutal death metal band, and this band, they may have cheated a little bit. They may have got me because the title track, the opening track of this record, it has the symphony part from the Predator soundtrack and samples from Predator, which is one of my favorite action/horror movies of all time. As soon as I heard that violin part from the Predator soundtrack, I went, oh, and I was hooked. Coming in at number 3, Jet Engine Dragons, great band name. And the album title is Ronin. This is progressive metal out of my home state of Georgia. And this is like real technical prog. It's also got death growls and all sorts of fun, unexpected arrangements. I'm always gonna dig that. Despite my Georgia bias, I think it's good anyway. Coming in at number 2, some more great stuff out of Spain. Ilex with Mutadio. This is groove metal, and I had a great time with this. A lot of fun, a real headbanger with riffs that I'm like, oh, yeah, I like that. And hey, before we do number 1, I want to make a quick announcement to the Heavy Metal Philosophy community. So check this out. Oh, looky here, we got merch. It's about time. You boys got 4 jobs. It took me a while, but we're going. We've partnered with Fourth Wall, and now there's print-on-demand merch. You can find it at links in the description. I think it's johnbarbas.fourthwall. Go to my website. It's easy to find. It's easy to find in the description. There should even be handy little buttons in the YouTube screen. I'm trying to do it right, y'all. And speaking of trying to do it right, we got a little bit of everything. We got shirts, we got tank tops, we got women's tank tops, jackets. Check this jacket out. This is a perfect way to start your battle vest. You already got a battle vest? Cool. Grab one of these patches. We've got sweatpants for you to work out in. A little bit of everything. This is the first design run with the basic Heavy Metal Philosophy logo. We intend to incorporate some more designs in the future. And if you're a merch designer, maybe holler at your boy. Go check it out. I really appreciate it. But before you do, check out the #1 album from the week, plus Dealer's Choice and the album art of the week. Coming in at #1, Witch Vomit with Funeral Sanctum. Death metal out of Oregon. Once again, I got my hands on this one early. In my written review, I talked about how it's got the rumble of Death Doom with the ferocity of more standard death metal. And then they do trills that remind me of Black Sabbath. But then that dude's vocals are so low and so deep, it just grabs you and drags you somewhere even darker and further down, just crushing you the whole way. And there's a little bit of groove every now and again too. Y'all know I love that. Hey, there's a little fun thing that I want to do with Dealer's Choice this week. Let's go to Dealer's Choice. For this week's Dealer's Choice, yet another time where I think that this segment is so cool. I get to pick stuff that I normally don't get to pick. We got an EP from Jason Blake and Raphael Weinroth called Candles Burn. And you got Jason playing this weird looking guitar, and then Raphael playing the cello. And if you like that sort of Diablo 1 evil folk music, kind of like Opeth's Blackwater Park era where they do the cleans, that's what this is. It's this really dark chamber music for metalheads. I really dug it. Check it out. And my favorite album art this week came from Proto Sequence with Bestiary. This is tech death out of Canada. And I just picked this because the album cover is so different than any other death metal album cover. This looks like a garage band or a pop band's sort of album cover with the bright colors and the abstract art. And I appreciate somebody doing something different. When I look at a spread, a layout of all the albums that came out this week, that one definitely popped. And the heaviness that's coming from this record, you wouldn't guess that from this. I could easily have put this one in the top 5 because as far as tech death is concerned, it's real progressive. It's not super high BPM. I really enjoyed this one. And I probably would have looked at it in the record store under the tech death section. They're like, really? That's awesome. And hey, remember when I said that there's a new Ingested album that came out today? Well, that's also this week's podcast. I talked about the evolving sound that has landed Ingested where they're at here with this record. If you're interested in my analysis there, then just click right here. Once again, get you some Heavy Metal Philosophy merch, but most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.